welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to make jelly rolls, spiral canes, hurricane canes. They're called all different sorts of things. I think it's depending on which technique you use. I just call them spiral canes. So whatever you want to call them. But as you can see, I'm trying to stand them up on end so you can see the colours, so it's a bit easier. There's different techniques to how to get the different blends that we've got, and you can manipulate them into different shapes and use them for different things. So let's get started and I'll show you how. The first way that we're going to make some spiral, jelly roll, whatever you want to call them, canes is just with two plain colours. Now I'm going to show you two different ways of way that you can start rolling it up. You can have these in many different colours, just pick out however many you want, but I'm just showing you in two because this is the main concept of it. They need to be really well conditioned. It's really warm in my studio at the moment, so it's all a bit sticky, making it clear at the moment. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay these on top of each other and I'm going to show you the difference in the start. So I'm just going to chop these down the middle. Right, so the first way is just line them so that they match up completely end to end. Now I've got these rolled out on my thickest setting of pasta machine. Now you want to decide whether if you want this colour on the inside or this colour on the inside. So I think I'm going to go, yeah, I'll have the dark brown on the outside. So, and I'm just nipping the end of it. Now as you can see, that's sort of just squishing out, so just all the way up. This is just for when you get started, you don't need to do this with all of it. So I've got that thinned out, you can see that it's thin, it's just to start off the roll, and I'm just going to curl it up on itself. And the brown is I think it's metallic copper actually, and that was probably the hardest one to condition because it's been in my drawer for ages. So, and then we're just going to roll it up. Now with this one, you can see it's just started edging out a little bit further past there, so it's up to you whether you want to trim that off. And I'm rolling, I'm going to try and keep as much air out of the cane as I can. Just pressing down, going along. So it's not come out too much there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my blade, just trim off that excess bit. So that's the first way. So you can see you get more of a thickness of the inside colour. Now with these ones you will get quite a bit of wastage on the ends, so just be careful when you're reducing. I'm not making too big of a cane because I don't use these for all that much, but they're a good accent cane as well. So that's the first one. So as you can see, you get quite a thick centrepiece of the inside colour. Now the other way is do it the same way around, and then you can see the difference. You stagger them, so about ½ an inch or something, or it can be less if you want, but I've just staggered them just a little, you can just see. And then again I'm just going to, you can always take your roller and just thin them out a little bit. Just automatically go for my hands because that's your main tool as a crafter, is your hands. Right, so as you can see now it's going past there, so we're just going to roll it up just like we did the other one. And try and keep that air out a bit. As you can see, this is actually still quite cracked, but once it's reduced you're not going to know anyway, but it just makes it easier the softer it is, and I think this is just because it's really old clay. But because it's not that big of a cane, I'm not worrying about it. If it bothers you, just condition it some more. There we go. When you squish it down anyway, the clay is going to fill in the gaps anyway, so I don't worry about it. And then you can leave it so that it goes beyond it. Now I'm going to cut that off just so that it's the same. So you can see the two difference in this one. You've got a more of a tighter swirl of both the colours here, and then on this one you've got a thicker chunk of the inside colour, because you've not got that, I'll say the brown one on the outside, because you've not got that one sectioning off the inside colour. So that's just the difference between staggering it and just laying them completely flat on top of each other. So like I say, you need to do this with just at least two different colours. The highly contrasting ones are the best because you're going to get that big impact. If you do colours that are too close together, when you reduce them, they're just going to turn to mud. They'll they'll just sort of mix in together, and you don't want that. So you can do them in 3, 4, 5. In fact, let me just show you. This is one that I made quite a while ago, and this one's got 3, and it's got red, green, white. Probably can't see very well on the camera, but this was one, I think it was last Christmas I made this, and I was doing some decorations or something, and I thought they were very festive colours anyway. But you don't have to keep them just in this shape. Another way of shaping them is into a triangle. So I'll shape this one into a triangle, and it's not hard to describe it really. So you're pushing on it as though it's like got the 3 sides. So, and then you can pop it down on your mat and push it into the table, and then just try and get your 3 points. And this way you can make take slices off it and make different patterns. So I'm going to cut it off once I've finished. As you can see here, the colour's coming out at the end, so I need to cut that off for me to be able to have a good slice. There we go. So you've got a triangle swirl, and you could do squares, you could do hearts if the mood took you, if that's what you wanted to do. There's lots of different shapes that you can do it, so don't think that you've just got to keep it in a round one. You can make it into different shapes. The next way I'm going to show you how to make a spiral jelly roll, whatever you're calling it, is I'm going to use a skinner blend. So I'm taking yellow and blue because I'm wanting it to go green in the middle, but I want to leave enough of the natural colour of the clays that I've got out. I'm just going from what's straight out of the packet. If you want to create your own colours, then feel free. It's just this is what I've just pulled out of my drawer. So rather than doing it straight over the top, and I'd usually just cut it in half and do it that way, I want to just stagger it just a little, and then I'm going to take my blade. So as you can see, I've just overlapped it there in the middle. And I'm going to go from this point down here. Now if you've got a longer blade, you can do it that one, it'll just manage. I'm just going down at an angle. I'm going to take that off, take away that yellow. Now if you're wanting to make a really big cane, you can put that on top of the other halves that you're doing. I'm just making smaller canes because, like I said, I don't use them to make actual beads on their own that often. I just like them as accents and things like that. So I've got it laid like this. That just reminds me, this is the same colours of the Ukraine flag, so I just remembered about them, what's going off. So now I'm just going to fold it down onto itself. See, and there's some colours from the last one that we're going out. Because this is a dark colour, I'm not worried about it because it'll blend straight into it. But if it does bother you, you can just take your blade and just curve it a little and just scrape them off. Or the other thing that you can do is you can take some, oh, what's it called, rubbing alcohol and a piece of tissue and rub it off, or the other one's acetone. I've not tried it on baked pieces or anything like that yet. I've just found out that you can use it as a good cleaning way to just get these like surface flecks off. Because I'm trying to keep my pasta machines, you know, free of all dodgy colours and stuff, so I don't get silly blends. But what I'm going to do now is I will, if I've got a big brown piece there, so I'm going to get rid of that because it's on the yellow side, and I don't want it going orange. I just want yellow, green and blue. So and then I'm going to feed this end into the pasta machine and fold it back onto itself, and it comes out just until I've got that nice blend. I have got a video showing you how to do these more in depth, but you probably already know how to make these anyway, but I'll link in the description box the other video that I did, so you'll know how. So I'm going to go and do that off camera and I'll be back in just a second. So I've got a beautiful blend there. That's exactly what I wanted. So as you can see, we're going from the yellow to a pale green into a darker green and then through to the blue. Now I'm going to do it two different ways. Again, I'm only making small canes because I don't use them all that much. You're probably getting fed up with me saying that now, so I'll stop saying it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this so in half so I can do two canes. So one's going to have the blue in the middle and one's going to have the yellow. Now I'm just going to run these through on a couple of thinner settings of my pasta machine. Let's go. So it's more than doubled in its size. Yeah, it's probably about 3 times bigger now. So just going to roll these up. Again, try and keep it as flush to the mat as you can, just to make sure that you don't get too many air pockets. I mean, as you can see, I've just got some air pockets actually within the clay itself, so just try and pop them as you're rolling them along if you find them. So we've just got mainly the blue in the centre going out from the green and the yellow. And let's just reduce down. And press it down. If you've got an acrylic block, and mine's disappeared on me. It always seems to run off when oh, there it is. So I'm just going to push down it. It's just to get any air of it in it out. Same with this one. Because in cane making we don't like air pockets or bubbles or anything like that, so we're trying to squish them out as best we can as we're going. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to flatten this out, so I'm just pressing it down onto the mat. I'm just trying to keep the edges fairly straight. I'm going to use my rolling pin. Once you've got it rolled out thin enough, it's going to go through our pasta machine. So I'm going to take it back up to my thickest setting. I forgot to say on the last one, you can have your different layers of clay. You know, we've done two, did them both the same. You could do them different thicknesses depending on what you want your prominent colour to be. Just remember that I had to fill you in on that. So I'm going to take this through on my thickest setting. Okay. So as you can see there, we've got yellow and we've got blue on the outside. And then we're going to just roll from the end like we did to make the plug, press it down. There we go. I'll do the other one, and then I'll cut them both at the same time, and then you can see the difference in them. Brown. Now the clay has gone very sticky. I'm going to put the air conditioning on in between shots because it's that warm today. Right, so I'm going to go on this end. And you can, in fact we'll do that now. You can, this bit where you can see that there's obviously no yellow over there, just trim it off. So if you wanted to, you could always put a really thin layer of another colour on here now and just roll it up as you're doing it before, so that's another way of doing it. So I'm just going to do it the same as I did in the last one, and then I can just show you the difference, doing it the colours the opposite way around. Yes, press out the air. Okay. So this is the magical moment where we trim it off. And we can see missed a little bit there. There we go. And you've just got a really subtle change in colour as you're going around. But that's just from just using one Skinner blend. You can do it different ways around. Now if you made your Skinner blend even bigger, you could do both of these colourways, but then do cut each of the, like cut it into 4, and then you could do one quarter with one colour one way, one the other way, and then you can do the other way that I've just said about putting a third colour in, a really thin colour. You could probably use white or something that's highly contrasting to whatever colours on the outside that you're putting it on, and then it's got that more defined swirl on the inside of it. So that's just another option for if you want to do those ones. For the next one you're going to need 2 Skinner blends. Now this is the shape that we're wanting to get our Skinner blend into. So I've already done one, and I've done the Skinner blends off camera because you've already seen me do it. So I've got a relatively small piece of clay here, and I've got the same amount with the yellow and orange blend that I did, and I've just folded them in half. Now what we're wanting to do is we're wanting to make a fatter log, not round one, just a rectangle like this, and it's probably about just under ½ an inch thick. And just pressing and squishing, and because it's warm it's quite easy with the weather at the moment, so which is good. Just so you've got them at the right sort of length. Then what we're going to do is we're going to pinch the ends, not just one this time, both. Again, you could use your rolling pin just to make it a lot thinner, because we're wanting it to be thicker in the middle and thinner on the outsides. So apologies if you can hear kids in the background. It's the kids have just come home from school, and they're all playing in the garden with the weather being nice. So that way. I'll try and get it relatively even, but if you don't, it's fine. So as you can see there, I've got an air pocket, so I'm just going to slit it. Okay, so I've got it fatter in the middle. I'm going to do the same with this one. Again, you want to try and keep it the same width. The other end. So again, we've got that around about the same length. Now, again, when you're doing these skinner blends, you get to decide what colours you want to go on the inside and what's going to be the ones on the outside. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut these in half and do what we've done on the last one, so I can have both colourways. So just going to put it down the middle. So I've got, shows how sticky it is, it's not wanting to come apart. There we go. And then do the same with the red and white one. I've gone a bit skewy from that one, so I'll go up a bit. Okay. So I'll just take some of these and I'll start with the yellow and the red ends in, and we're just going to curl these around, and we're wanting them to sort of hook into each other to start that spiral off. So once you've got those pinched in, so that make sure that they're hooked around, and then we're just going to take them around. Now it's a little bit fiddly because it's chunky, so just curl it round. This is more of a swish. Now if you do these in rainbow colours, you know, you get lots of different colourways going in them. So it looks like a great big fat disc at the moment, but all you've got to do is just reduce it. Now because I'm not using all that much clay, I'm not going to have that bigger cane. Now if I'd have left it together just so that I could have a thicker of this one way, obviously I'll have more left, but I wanted to just show you what the difference is with the two. So I'm just going to move that out a little bit more. So I'll leave that one to rest. So we went with the red and the yellow on the inside, so we'll go with the orange and the white on the inside now. So create your little hook, so thin it out quite thin on that bit, and yes, that one wants to go in there. Now another option you could do is you could put another thin layer of another colours, so you've got like sort of a look like a brush stroke going through it, so that's another option. So we're hooking those together, going round. There we go, roll it round. So this one looks more like a snail shell, so then if you want to put a little bit more of the red on that one, if you wanted it to just come out and find my original colour, because this one comes quite fairly even to it, so let's just take a little bit. Don't be afraid to add things into your canes when you're doing it. You don't have to just stick with the same amount. I do it all the time, and I like to make, because like clay will distort, so don't worry if you just need to add something to it or adjust it. Don't worry about it. At the end of the day, it's only clay, and it's supposed to be fun and relaxing. I mean, if you're into, you know, doing everything precise, and that's fine. But I think when I'm as warm as I am at the moment, I can't do absolutely precise. My brain wants to go, no! Let's squeeze that. Now, let's try and keep the clay in its position, so you don't want to lose too much early on. As you can see, the the outside's reduced more than the inside, so it squishes out, so that's probably a better angle for you to see. There we go. So as you can see here, this has not got the red on, so again you could put a little bit more of that red on there so you just didn't lose out on that tiny little bit. Excuse me, I've got neighbours doing DIY as well now. It's a problem when I've got to have the studio door open, it's I can hear everything, so I apologise if it's too bad in the background. So I'm just covering that little bit up, sort of just helps you from losing too much, and then we'll even that out and come up there, so a little bit of white out, something like that. Okay, so I'm going to draw that and even it. Okay, roll this out so it's the same length as the other one, and I'll do a cut, and then you can just see the difference. Right, so here we go. It's not squished enough in the end. This one. A bit of red on that one, so there you go. So you've got two different canes just from two skein blends that you've just cut in a different way. So before you're putting your cane together, so just if you don't want to have too much of the same thing, you just do it the other way around and you've got a different effect, but yet the corresponding. So before you make your jelly rolls, just think whether if you want to add colours, whether if you want to do it in an opposite direction. There's always options for you to do. You don't have to use one blend just one way, you can do other things with it. So let's get on with the next one. So with this last blend, I'm going to show you what I've been meaning about putting a thin layer over the top of your thick layer for you to get that sort of pencil mark or brush stroke, whatever you want to call it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 3 different canes with this. Again, I'm going to be doing it just so that the colours just opposite from the inside, but then there's another one where we're going to get a varied cane the more that you cut it. So I'm going to just cut it in half. So I'm going to save this bit to do the other one. So I've got some black. It needs to be a colour that's going to stand out from the ones that you've got here, so black obviously is a good one to go. That's quite thin, probably only 1mm thick, that's probably what it is. Don't take it any further down because it's very sticky with the heat and everything. So what I'll do is, probably going to be easier doing it this way, so because it's sticky and stretchy, so I'm going to just put that on the top of it, and we're going to trim it off. Just going to cut down the centre. Again, decide whether if you want the black to be on the inside or the outside. I'm going to leave it on the outside, and then I'm going to start curling with the yellow in the centre to start with. So I'm just thinning out the end like we did before. This is just to start off the curl in the centre, and then roll it up like before. As you can see, I've used more colours in this way. It was just yellow, red and blue, so it's given me more of a graduated, you know, like more colours in it. Put that to the side, and then we'll go the opposite way around now. Thin it out. Or don't, it's up to you, but I prefer doing it that way. There we go. So I'm just going to press the air out a bit. I'm not going to do too much cutting on it because the more I'm working it, the stickier it's getting with the heat. So if you're going to be using them for anything and cutting them up, I'd let them rest if they're very hot, you know, warm and sticky like this, but obviously I need to show you what they've turned out like. So I'm just going to do a really rough cut because it can distort your cane if you do it when it's too okay. Right, so let's do a cut. Perfect. And then this one. There you go. So you've got two coordinating canes again, but they've got that slight difference because they've got that thin layer of black in them. Or you could put white, or just a pastel colour of some sort, obviously depending on how light your colours go. But black is generally a really good one for it to stand out from. So that's another two canes we've got. So I'll put these over here with the rest. I've got quite a stash of spiral canes going on here. Now with this one, this is so that you've got a different variant. So now you're probably thinking this is what you've already done, but we're going to roll it a different way. So rather than thinning out one end, we're going to thin out the side. So I'm just going to again measure all that, and I'm going to curl it over like we do from doing it the other end, but we're going to do it from going from side to side. Now you will only be able to tell the different colours when you cut down this cane. This one would be a good one for if you're cutting them all out to be beads. So like say if you're making some spiral beads and you just wanted a variant of all these colours. So the more you cut it down, so as you cut it going down that way, you're going to get all those variants just with the black mixed in. So, okay. Now you could make your colours go a little bit closer together, so again you can just squish it up because it's so soft. You could thin the clay out and get the colour, fold the colours together. If you've seen my other videos, I'll show you how to do it. But you really don't. If your clay is as soft as what mine is, it'll quite easily squish into the other colours. Just remember, if you're not cutting this up straight away, you want to leave it so that it's big enough for you to be able to reduce it, and you need some room to be able to do that. Okay. I'll bring it down. to either end. There. So, one end you've got your yellow, one end you've got your blue, but the more you cut it down, and once you reduce it, you're going to get those different colours variants going all the way down. So that's just another option for you to be able to get a variety of beads in your stash without doing too much work. So let's move all these out of the way and bring the other ones back that we've done. And you can see, so this is the 3 that we've just made last, and then these were the first ones that we did, and then I think these were the second ones, if I remember right. I'm trying to remember. And then these were just before these ones that we've just done, if I remember right. I blame the heat, I can't remember. So those are the ones that we've created together. Now you can do them in lots of different colour variations. This one I used a yellow going into a white, you know, just in the skin blend when we did this one. And then the other one was a pink going into a red, so it got darker. And then I just put a green, a thin layer like what we've just done, and I just put a green because I knew that were going to be a high contrast to the other colours. This one I did this way, but I just did it with some solid colours, so I just used a solid purple and a solid green, but then I put a thin layer of black going round. So you don't have to do the skinner blends, it's just you can use a solid colour as well. What else? What was this one? Oh, and that's just another one of these ones, but I've not put in a solid colour, just separating them off. So that's that one. And this was another skinner blend one, and you can see better. And I just used a navy blue because I knew that was going to stand out. So obviously it's a dark one like the black is, so I knew it was going to stand out well. And this was just greens that I added together, just so I got different shades running all the way through. This one, oh, this is the opposite one to the blue. So how we did the colours going in different, you know, like the yellow in the middle, and was it that one? Which one was it? I think it was the same as that one, but I've put that thin layer between them. So I've got oh, the purple was on the outside, and then the other one was a green, and then I think I just went round this one with a bit of white afterwards. I think that's what I did anyway. Same sort of thing, you can just line your kins with another colour if you wish. This is the one that I showed you earlier, which is just that general you know, the basic one where they're all stacked, you thin it out and then you roll them on top of each other. And this is a red going down into a yellow. This was just another blend like this, but then I just put some white in it. As you can see, it's really subtle when it gets towards the middle. So you have to be careful of your colours, you know, when they're getting reduced. And this was a full-on rainbow blend, and I got a bit of purple in it, but I've not got much left now. It's probably about an inch long, this, there's not much left of this one. But I used white because they're quite bold colours. I knew that white was going to stand out quite well. But might not, I think you can just see. So those are just variants, and remember you can change them into different shapes. You don't have to keep them you know, just as round. You can just manipulate them into what you want them to be. So don't just think, you know, oh, it's a circle, it's got to stay that way. You can turn them into leaves, you could do squares, triangles, and then when they're a geometric shape like the triangles or the squares, or hexagons if you've got the patience to you know, manipulate them into that sort of shape, then you can just slice them and make slabs. So you don't have to use them as just beads, or you can use them as accents on other pieces. So I hope that's helped you, and it's inspired you to have a go at making some jelly rolls, spirals, hurricane, all the different names under the sun, whatever people call them. I've heard them all called different things. But if you've got any questions, pop them in the comments, I'll be happy to answer them. And if you've liked the video, if you could give me a thumbs up, that'd be appreciated. Oh, falling down, that'd be appreciated. And if you're not subscribed, if you consider subscribing, then that'd be appreciated too. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.